We've got an update for you this morning regarding Jean-Philippe Mateta. He's in talks about extending his Crystal Palace contract, but clubs such as Manchester United and Juventus are also interested in signing him this summer.
Yeah, Mateta has established himself as arguably one of the best number nines in the Premier League since he moved to Palace 4 years ago. He scored 36 times in the past 2 seasons and helped Palace to that FA Cup win.
Palace signed him in January of 2021 from Mainz, initially on a loan in a deal which was worth about £15 million. He's got 2 years left on his Palace contract, and then at 27 years old, he'd be expected to be valued at about £35 million. Palace want Mateta to stay and say he's not for sale.
United are trying to sign forwards like they're going out of fashion. What would feel more realistic to you? Crystal Palace is Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Well, this is another story that's developed over the course of the last 24 hours. Now, you speak to Crystal Palace and they'll say absolutely no chance does Jean-Philippe Mateta leave us this summer. He's got 2 years left on his current deal. He had 37 goal involvements in the Premier League in the last 2 seasons, was a key part of that side that went and won the FA Cup last season, and he's been a key player for Crystal Palace. And Oliver Glasner, he's really hit the back of the net with his goals and shown that he can be that number 9, probably one of the best number 9s in the Premier League. He's right up there. Of course, he's not on that level of Erling Haaland and Mo Salah, but certainly a player that has been outstanding since he joined in 2021. It cost Crystal Palace just £15 million from Mainz. Like we say, 2 years left on his deal, and Crystal Palace are currently in talks with his representatives over extending his Crystal Palace contract. That comes in the backdrop of this interest from not only Manchester United, but also Juventus. So one to keep an eye on over the course of the next few days. We know that Palace's stance is simple, not for sale. But of course, we know that Manchester United are looking to rebuild this front three.
The point is that Højlund wants to stay at Manchester United. Højlund has this desire of staying at Manchester United, fight for his place, as he said in public. But, information here, not public statement, Højlund maintains this position because he didn't receive any communication from a United management, director, CEO, coach, staff. No one from a United went to Højlund and told him, you have to go. No one. If someone is going to do this in August, Højlund could assess his options on the market. But so far, no one told him, you have to go. And so Højlund is more than happy to stay, fight for his place, because he loves Manchester United. And he wants to succeed at Man United. Then, if it's going to be Man United telling him, you have to go, that could be different. So the Højlund situation is still one to watch. He's a dream for Leipzig, but at the moment, I think there could be more clubs if Højlund leaves Man United. At the moment, he still insists on staying at the club. Just quickly, guys, on Alejandro Garnacho, let me mention again, just to clarify something on the timing. I told you yesterday that Garnacho is keen on a move to Chelsea. I told you in the last 2-3 weeks that Chelsea want Alejandro Garnacho and consider Alejandro Garnacho a separate story from Xavi Simons. So I confirm these 2 points. One more point, the timing. Guys, Garnacho is not something happening today, is not something happening tomorrow, is not something happening on Sunday, is not something happening on Monday, and probably not even on Tuesday. Garnacho to Chelsea. It's going to take some time before they enter into that, because they have to sell players, because they want to find solutions for that, for some of their players before signing more and more. So there are some steps to do, and also the valuation of the player is going to be important. How much Man United want, how much Chelsea want to offer. So timing for Garnacho is relax. It's not this weekend, it's not probably Monday, it's not even Tuesday. It's going to take some time. If Chelsea and Man United will be able to find an agreement. For sure, Chelsea are keen on Garnacho, and Garnacho is keen on Chelsea. That's for sure. Then you need to reach an agreement, and at the moment we are not even at the negotiation stage.
Manchester United are ready to sell Rasmus Højlund, having set an asking price for the Danish striker ahead of changes to their number 9 position. According to Jan-Age Fjortoft, Manchester United are willing to take a massive loss on their investment in Rasmus Højlund after naming their asking price. The Red Devils are now ready to sell the ineffective Danish striker for €30 million amid ongoing talks with suitors. Rasmus Højlund recently commented on his desire to stay at Manchester United and fight for his position. Given Ruben Amorim has not found a new striker as of yet, the theory of the Dane staying and leading the line next season is all the more plausible. However, Manchester United are intensifying their efforts to land a new striker, as Benjamin SEŠKO is their priority target. Højlund, for his part, was given the best part of 2 years since a big move from Atalanta to prove his worth, although his performances, especially from last season, did leave Amorim unimpressed. Should SEŠKO arrive, Højlund could leave in search of regular game time and a prominent role elsewhere. Incidentally, the 22-year-old was linked with a move to RB Leipzig, SEŠKO's current club. Although there are no chances of a part exchange being mooted, Manchester United are ready to sell Højlund and part ways with the ineffective 22-year-old Dane. As per the story, talks with suitors were ongoing, although there's no clarity on which teams are chasing the forward at the current moment. Bayer Leverkusen were linked recently with former Red Devils boss Erik ten Hag, who signed Højlund at Old Trafford in charge of the German club, now as he may seek a reunion. Manchester United want £30 million for the 22-year-old, and should they stick with their asking rate, the club will take a massive loss on their investment in the striker. However, Amram does not want a bloated squad, and given they might need some sales to balance the space in accounting books, the club are seemingly ready to take a significant haircut on their investment. Whether any of the interested parties are open to paying as much remains to be seen. However, £30 million might seem like a reasonable price point for the 22-year-old who has a long-term future ahead of him, and certainly